Great. So, Wayne, so happy that you're here hanging out with us today. Thank you so much.
Where else would I be?
Cheers. Well, I would love for you to just talk a little bit, give us a little intro, talk to us about your company and your
Sure.
background, and then we're going to go into a little bit of a Q&A. Hey, guys, just to remind everybody, how we're going to do the questions is we're going to have you guys type in the questions into the chat box, and I'll pop them over to Wayne, okay? I'll ask Wayne as we go along. All right, Wayne, you can take it from here. Tell us, how'd you get here? Who are you? Give us all the good stuff.
Well, tell you what, before I get into that, I just need to let you all know how sympathetic I am because so many of you, so many of us, our income went down to zero. We're wondering how we're going to pay rent, how we're going to buy food, how we're going to, do anything. Where I came from, born and raised in Northwest New Jersey, about 50 miles from here. Went to school in Boston. When I was 21, I was made an offer and I moved out to LA. I learned a lot out there. I learned a lot about who you can trust, who you can't trust. Spent 13 years out there and I'm back here in New York since the early 90s. In LA, I was a publicist and I worked in a manager's office out there. And he decided he didn't want to be a manager anymore. And he went into production. And for the last 30 years, he has been the CEO of Lionsgate, which is kind of cool. So I learned a lot of things that I know now from the CEO of Lionsgate. I apply them to what I do now. But moved back to New York in the early 90s, started personal management, and I teach an acting class a couple times a week. I'm very, very careful of who I represent, who I work with. There's certain things I look for before I bring somebody on. And we'll get into that, later on. But yeah, my job as a manager is basically to guide, counsel, oversee the career of an actor, make sure they don't make the same mistakes I made when I was in LA. And that's one of the reasons I became a manager. I didn't want to see anyone fall into the trap that I fell into. Been very blessed with the clients that I have. Colleen, what next?
That's great. So I know you've got, many, many years of experience. Before we go into a little Q&A, can you give us, let's take a minute to brag. Tell us what your clients have been doing recently.
Recently, they've been staying at home, 6 feet away from each other. And testing me. They've been doing guest star, host star roles on a lot of different shows, auditioning up until 2-3 weeks ago, auditioning quite a bit. I have 2 clients who have feature films out right now on Netflix, of which they are the star of the film. Timothy Boardman is on the star of Miles, which was on Netflix. Joshua Cody is in a Netflix film called Santa Girl. And the weird thing about that is about 2 months ago, I was in the holiday mood and I'm like flipping through Netflix movies and I came across Santa Girl on Netflix. I watched it and I noticed there's one actor on there. But at the end of the movie, I saw casted by Jan Laser. And Jan is someone who I worked with 30 years ago in LA. So I sent her an email and I'm like, Jan, what's the deal on this Cody kid? What's he all about? And she goes, oh my God, he's great, you'll love him. And 2 days later, he called me and we've been working together. He is he's doing well. He's a good guy. So you never know where you're going to get people from, you know. But yeah, clients have been auditioning for, you know, every New York show, a lot of feature films, commercials, theater, whatever we can get them out on.
Great.
Yep.
So I'm starting to see some questions come through. Tell us, what is on your wish list for actors? You know, when you find an actor that, you know, is really intriguing to you, what are those things that usually stand out that make you want to work with them?
Oh, awesome question. Number one is their ability to communicate. So many actors do not know how to communicate with their representatives. They feel that they sit back, wait for the phone to ring, things will happen. You have to look at a manager like a marriage. You know, it's two people really coming together, working hard, communicating, asking questions, becoming a team. I look for personality. I look for honesty. I look for someone who knows it's going to take time and effort to get them out there, to help build a career. Because you have an agent or a manager, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to be a star. It only means that you have one more person working on your team, helping you out. Someone who can open doors for you that might be kind of hard to open on your own. So I definitely look for people who I can communicate with and have a sense of humor, because when you look like me, you have to have a sense of humor. You know, you've got to, you know, laugh about life. And that's what I like people to do, you know, be fun, but be serious at the same time.
How many do you have on your roster right now?
I have 13 who are very active. And then I have a few more than that who are in the grooming process, who aren't quite ready. But we're getting them ready. And by we, I mean me, because I'm a one-man band. When you call my office, you talk to me. You don't talk to my assistant or, you know, the assistant, you get me.
Now, the actors that you represent, are they bi-coastal? Are they mostly New York, mostly LA? Are they in Atlanta? Anybody out, like anybody in Canada or other areas?
Colleen, you asked some really cool questions. I like that. Yeah.
I'm just asking you what's coming through the chat box.
Oh, all right. Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, I would say 80% of the people I rep are New York based, and then 20% are LA, London, and Canada. So it's about 20% outside of New York City. And we get along great. And no, I do not go out to LA. I did my time out there. I'm very happy here.
Question, when do you think an actor is ready for a manager? You know, when do you think that's a really good step in an actor's career?
Again, that's another great question. People say, well, I don't have a career, so what's there to manage? Well, a manager's job is to help you get that career. So basically, I would say from day one, if you find the right person that is very, very interested in you and you in them, you need to find a manager who is as excited about your career as you are. Because you need that excitement. You're going to have some really wonderful days and some really crappy days. And you need to make sure that the manager is going to be there to support you when, you know, you're going out and audition, and you're not getting anything. You want someone that's not going to give up on you right away or at all. You want someone that's going to be there, you know, anytime for you. Not to hold your hand, but just be supportive.
You know, as a manager, you're constantly giving your clients advice. You know, say an actor is in a bit of a dry spell and they're not booking. What are some strategies that you would talk through with your clients to kind of get them out of their dry spells?
Very simple. Motivation without bullshitting them. The last thing an actor needs is for a rep to say, oh, look, baby, sweetie, you're terrific. You're going to be fine. You find out what the problem is. And the way I do it is I call casting directors who they've auditioned for. And I'm like, what happened? What's going on? Give me some feedback. And a lot of casting directors will tell you what's happening. They will say, well, they were nervous. They weren't prepared. They were late, the whole thing. And then I pass it on to my clients and say, hey, why weren't you prepared? Why were you late? You know, all that kind of stuff. So you find out what the problem is, and then you work together to solve it.
How do you suggest actors who are listening to you today build their relationships in the business with casting directors and representatives?
Be yourself. The last thing you want to do is go in there like a bad used car salesman. Be yourself. Be honest with them. Do not bombard them with emails or phone calls or postcards. Maybe one postcard every couple of months, letting them know what you're doing or whatever. I've been in so many casting offices where I would see a pile of unopened 8x10s. And on the top of that pile is one word, shred. They get hit by so many actors with, you know, this request. And there's a point where you become annoying and you don't want to be annoying. You know, that's the whole thing. But be grateful after every audition. Maybe drop them a note saying, thank you for your time. Thank you for seeing me. And then leave it. But basically be yourself.
How do you tend to find your other clients? Any particular routes that you like to explore when you're looking for new people?
I love going to off-Broadway shows. I love going to showcases, even though I have to admit I have not been to that many this year, because most of them were canceled. And I have a weird way of finding clients lately. I'm watching a lot of film and a lot of film on Tubi, Netflix, HBO Now. And I watch movies that nobody's ever heard of. And if I see somebody in that film that would fill a gap, I would find out if they're represented. And if they're not, I would approach them. And if they are, I would encourage them to stay with the rep that they have, because loyalty in this business is so important. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways that I look around. Right now, to be really honest, until this whole industry gets moving again, I'm not really looking, but I'm very open to talking to people. And if they happen to fill a void that I don't have, definitely sit down with them.
That's great. You know, we've got a lot of questions here in the chat box about, you know, the manager versus an agent. Do a lot of your clients have both agent reps as well as working with you? Do you prefer people just work with you? What are your thoughts on the manager versus agent conversation?
Great question. Definitely some of them have agents, some of them do not. I would say I personally get, and maybe I'm very lucky, but I personally get about 80% of the auditions that my clients have, because I submit through Breakdown Express, casting networks, casting directors email me directly and saying, hey, who do you have that might fill this? So I get a lot of auditions myself. Now, commercially, I do not get commercial breakdowns. So a lot of my clients have commercial agents, whether it be innovative artists or Paradigm or whoever, because I don't deal with commercials. But most of the time, I get the auditions for them. I get the sides, the material. I help them through the character and what they should dress like. I make suggestions on how to approach the audition. And if I know the casting director really well, I will say, listen, go in there, don't shake their hand. Or go in there, shake their hand. Do this, do that. Based upon what I know about them.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Cool. So we talked about that. Question. So obviously this is throwing a wrench in pilot season and, because so many projects were still underway. Would love your thoughts on what you think is going to happen to the industry once we get back up and running. Any changes you think coming down the pipeline because of this situation?
Yeah. Normally, as all of you guys know, summertime is pretty slow. We're June, July, kind of dead. Once we're out of this, all the pilots that should have been cast will be cast, and all the ones that should have been shot will be shot. And that'll probably happen in the summer, like May, June, July. So I really think that the normal dead time is not going to be dead at all. So be prepared. Don't plan on going to the Bahamas in the summer. Stay here in New York or wherever you happen to be. There will be work.
Any advice for this group about how to make sure that they're always professional in dealing with casting directors, the do's and don'ts of the audition room?
Yeah, don't go in there as though they are your best friend. They are there to do a job. They have a certain window to cast a film or a TV series. They're seeing 20, 30 people a day for that role. They want to get in and they want to get out. So be professional, be prepared, show up on time, which is really important, and feel the energy. Obviously you're going to be very nervous in the waiting room. Your hands will be sweaty and it's normal. Before this broadcast today, I was pacing around the apartment. I'm like, shoot, what did I get myself into? I'm nervous. But you'll learn to get over it. So feel the room out, really feel it out. And if it's a very cordial, happy-go-lucky atmosphere, that'll help you out. If it's more of a business type of an atmosphere, bring it down. But use your instincts as far as how to approach the room. But always be prepared and always be on time. The one thing I will drop somebody for is not communicating. Don't be afraid to talk to your agent. Don't be afraid to talk to your manager about anything. And if you hide things, that's really not healthy. So too many actors give away their power. They give away their power. They're signed with an agency. They're signed with a management firm. And they automatically just give them all of their power. You have to remember one thing. It's your business. You are a business. You are a corporation. And the only product that you have is you. Your talent, your look, your heart, your soul, that's the product. And you bring on a manager to help run that, or agents to help run that company. Don't be afraid to talk to them. That is just so, so important. And don't be afraid to make waves. Secret of acting is there is no secret. Um, I mean, I way back when I worked with Kevin Bacon, and this goes back to like 1979. Don't anybody do any math, all right? And he became an overnight star in Footloose, but it took him 10 years to get to that point, which people don't realize. It takes a long time to get there. And I can't stress this enough. The important thing is have fun. The minute acting becomes a job, get out of it. You've got to wake up every morning like, I really want to do this. And when you lose that excitement, find something else to do.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree. I absolutely agree. I saw a really cool question and I would love your take on it. And one thing that I see often with actors in New York is that they try to do so much and they're always saying yes, how the question was proposed in chat. What is your philosophy on the yes philosophy? And how do you make sure that you make smart choices without overworking yourself?
Ooh, okay, tell you what, clarify that more. What are they saying yes to?
Constantly saying yes to different projects, just general, because there's so many different opportunities,
Sure.
Paid and unpaid, of course, in New York.
I have one client who does that a lot, and I had to take him into the other room and beat the crap out of him. Yeah, basically, if it's for film, if it's something that you're going to be filming, if you already have that character on film, you don't need it again. I mean, it's a small project. Every actor has one thing in common. They want to work. They want to work, okay? So if something pops up that really excites you, even though it's not going to pay any money, and even though it might be in Williamsburg instead of Manhattan, instead of 42nd Street, do it. It's a chance to exercise, a chance to spread your wings. Always strive to go outside the box. Look for projects that are going to really push you.
I would love to talk a little bit about marketing and social media. What do you suggest your clients do in this arena?
Very simple. Put out there as you want to be seen. The important thing is casting. I've asked casting directors, Julie Schubert, I've said, Julie, how much does Instagram or Facebook followers, how much of an impact? And she goes, I don't really care about that crap. I've asked other casting directors, oh, it means a lot, because if it's a small independent film, we know that we're going to get 50,000 people talking about that movie. So it's pretty much split, whether or not it's helpful, not helpful. I'm leaning more towards it is helpful. And I found that in the past, that somebody with more followers definitely has more visibility and they're easier to push. The secret is how you post. Number one, don't allow anyone to tell you you're not good enough, that you can't do it. Don't let anyone fence you in. And you'll find out if you can or can't do it. But don't let anyone tell you you can't. Surround yourself, and this is serious, with people you can trust, people who are going to look you in the eye when you talk to them, people who are not going to BS you. Awesome.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hey guys, everybody. Really appreciate your time too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.